Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So recently I just got one of the new Xbox controllers that's also the new Series X controllers. Sadly, I wasn't able to pre-order in time. I didn't try to call and get one for Black Friday sales. Some of the places that I called after even the beginning of Black Friday, the day of, they didn't even get any of the Series X's in for Black Friday. But kind of what I'm going to go over today is, and I'll shift you guys down a little bit so that way you can see the full array of everything, the evolution of the Xbox One / now Series X controller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these out on the side over here, and we're going to just kind of go over some of the differences. While they're pretty minute differences, they do make a difference in that gaming experience, as even from this controller to this one over the past few days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift your viewing angle over in front of these, and we'll kind of talk about each one, because I was interested in what exactly changed, and I'm sure some of you guys out there are too. So let's get to it. All right, so going through the different generations of the Xbox One / now Series X controller over here, we've got the first gen, like a mid-wave refresh, and then finally the newest version of it. So with the first gen, I mean, it looks all too familiar. Everything's kind of glossy up here. No texture at all to it. So you've got your charging port up here, which is a micro USB, your sync button, and then finally at the bottom, just for a controller or a mic headset adapter. And no 3.5 millimeter jack. Everything else kind of feels okay. It felt great at first, but as we kind of go through the difference between the two, as you can see, like this entire thing got kind of re-stylized up here at the top, which moves us into the mid-cycle refresh. So again, at the top, you've got your micro USB, your sync button, but then you get the addition of the 3.5 millimeter headset jack in here. And it felt a little bit more fluid. All the buttons felt a little bit better. And then up at top, it still kind of stayed the same. It was kind of embossed Xbox logo. The last difference on the mid-cycle refresh was that you did get a little bit of a texturized grip to it, which was nice when you were in some high-intensity modes inside of your games. But then we come to the newest one. So these two really didn't change a whole lot. This is where kind of everything redesigned itself. So now you have an auto share button right up here at the top. Your trigger wells are a lot smoother, a lot tighter. And then your D-pad is one of the most refreshed things. So it's a little bit easier to navigate. Again, on the bottom, you've got your headset adapter and then also your 3.5 millimeter jack. But the biggest thing is the addition to a USB-C port up top as opposed to the micro USB. So we're moving into the future. And then also even more texturized grip for ultimate gaming. So really they did a good job with this. One other thing to point out is just by feel, these wells inside of the analog sticks feel a little bit deeper, so it's got a nice kind of like pinch to it now, as opposed to with these where it kind of felt like you would just kind of slide off if you glided over a little bit too quickly. But all in all, the controller is literally still kind of that same design, but with the newest one right here, it definitely feels like it's, I don't want to say going into the future, because I mean, we're kind of already in the future. But basically this the charging port on here, if you have the Play and Charge kit, having that USB-C is a big thing, because a lot of phones and other like tablets and other peripherals are all going over to USB-C. So why clutter your junk drawer? If you don't have a junk drawer, well, I do, and well, it definitely has some cables in it. But with all the updated texture, the new D-pad, the deeper analog stick wells, and that auto share button. And also one thing that I forgot to mention, so The embossing is now basically all the way gone. This new Xbox logo is now almost completely flat. It does feel like there is slight bit of like depth changing, but not as much as it was in the previous controllers. But yeah, so like, you know, I had the question like, what was the main difference? I know I saw the D-pad, the auto share button. I heard and like read about that it had more texturized grip. I was like, okay, like mine's, you know, my previous controller had a little texture, like could it get any better? Well, hopefully it always gets better. So it did. And that's awesome. One thing that I didn't read about though was the USB-C charging as opposed to the micro USB. So now, if your controllers are working fine, would I recommend this to just go out and buy? Yes, if you're into competitive gaming, I would definitely recommend this. If you're not trying to spend a ton of money on either the Elite or if you go through the other companies that will customize the controller for you. And then also this is going to be the controller that you get if you get the Series X, whenever those are going to be available again. Also, if you know anyone that has one for sale at a reasonable price, let me know in the comments below. Really would love to get my hands on one of those. If you guys want to see an unboxing of one of those, also leave that in the comments below. Who knows when it'll happen? Because right now I've been checking like day in and day out, like trying to find one of these things. Yeah, so I wanted to know what the differences were since, you know, the Xbox One got released 7 years ago. And those are like the key differences to the controller. The feel of like it in your hand minus the texture doesn't really feel all that different. So, you know, it's something that you're comfortable with, something that you know. And I definitely think that they've made a big improvement coming out with this new one. Some people may say, oh, you know, I wish they had done this or that. But I think overall the design of it, the ergonomics of it are great already. So why change a great thing? But anyways, so that's going to wrap up the differences between the Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3, if you will, of the Xbox One / now Series X controllers. But again, this is the newest one is going to be my preference and choice now, just because of all the things that we talked about. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the description below if I missed anything on the differences between each of these controllers. Other than that, I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye.